Hello there and welcome back to the channel. This is Mel's Gaming here with another The Hunter Call of the Wild video. Now today's video is going to be a selection of highlight clips from the past couple of days in the lead up to Mississippi Acres release, which is actually happening later today, and I cannot wait to get my hands on that new map. I am so excited. But I have had some pretty awesome trophies as I said, in the few days leading up to today. And we're starting off here on Yukon Valley, where we are looking at an albino male caribou. And you can just see there, managed to get a really nice long shot into him with the M1, and he really didn't go far from that shot. Was really happy to finally see something other than a leucistic or piebald caribou bull, because those are the only two rares that I've actually been able to find as males on the PC account. And finally this guy showed up and I was so thrilled. Now, picking him up, he is only a silver, which I kind of expected. There was no way he was going to make gold with those antlers. But I really do actually like his antlers. I think he's a really nice looking smaller end caribou bull. And of course you can see that he is an albino versus the leucistic, as the leucistic males have a black nose and black hooves, as well as a black spot on their side, whereas you can see this guy is pure white with the pink nose and pink hooves, which is just a stunning looking animal in my opinion. These guys really are beautiful. The caribou rares might not be the rarest rares in the game, but I did want to try and get an albino and a melanistic to go in a specific place in the trophy lodge. So this guy helped to get at least part of that done. And yeah, I think they're absolutely stunning. They stick out a mile away and they're just so beautiful with that just pure snow white coat. I really love them, even if they are one of the more common rares. And sticking with Yukon Valley, I found another animal that I have been looking for a very long time. Pretty much ever since I got my PC account, which is this, a leucistic male plains bison. I have had such bad luck with trying to get a leucistic male plains bison. I had gotten all of the other rares for plains bison and like a max weight, max score diamond before I got a leucistic male. I had found a lot of leucistic females, but I really specifically wanted to find a male, as I have a couple of walls in the trophy lodge where I have all of the rares for plains bison and Euro bison as bulls. So I needed this guy just to complete that wall for plains bison, as I had a female there kind of as a placeholder. So I figured with the release of Mississippi Acres around the corner, what a better time than to actually head out into Yukon and hopefully try and get that sort of wall completed. And finally I found this guy. I actually ended up picking up his track, and it wasn't a very long track before I actually found the herd. And I honestly was so excited. Again, these might not be the rarest rare in the game. I'd say the leucistic plains bison are sort of, again, one of the more common rares, even though they are definitely still a rare. But to me, this is exactly what I needed. And you can see eventually he did turn broadside and give me a beautiful double lung shot with that 338. And again, really not gone very far before he actually ended up dropping from that shot. And he was actually aggressive, so he actually ended up running towards me, which was pretty cool. I do love the bison. I think they're so cool. I love how they go aggressive quite often after you've shot them as well. They're just one of my favourite animals in the game, and that's why I have that big display for those bison bulls, because the rare male plains bison and Euro bison are just so cool looking. And picking him up, he is a level 3 silver. I didn't think this guy would make gold, but I am so happy with that. And you can see that shot was probably a little bit further back than I actually would have liked, but still well into those lungs and perfect. I was so happy with this. You can see the track, as I said, was only very short before I actually found this guy. And even though he is only a silver, he is actually a decent size, being a level 3. So a really perfect addition to the trophy lodge there, and one that I was very happy to get before Mississippi Acres. Now, moving on to Parque Fernando, where I was actually out looking for an improvement to the albino water buffalo I had in the lodge. And I only had a small female albino in the lodge, and I actually ended up finding this guy, a level 5 male. Now, he's not the biggest in the world, but being a male, he is obviously an improvement. And I managed to bring him down there with a heart shot, again from the 338. and I was really, really happy to actually see one that was even a male, because as I said, the one in the lodge was a female, so being a male, this guy is an automatic improvement, and he did actually look pretty decent size, even though he was a level 5, and you can see there, it sort of got through to the left lung as well as the heart. But that's a really nice albino, and I actually went through a lot of servers looking for any kind of albino, whether it was, male, female, or one that was bigger than this, and this was actually the only one I actually managed to find. And I really do like the big rares for, plains bison, water buffalo, Cape buffalo, moose. They all look really, really cool. There's something about a big animal being a rare that's just really awesome. And this guy was absolutely no exception. And like I said, he is only a level 5, so he is only a silver and not the biggest one in the world. But I actually quite like his horns, and it is a definite improvement over the much smaller female I had. Compared to that female, this guy's a lot bigger, and he just looks a lot nicer. Those horns look a lot more like what I wanted for the lodge. And whilst I was looking around just to see if I could get anything to top that level 5, I ended up finding this guy, a 9 legendary water buffalo. Now, I had only shot 1 diamond on for water buffalo on this PC account, and I was actually really, really excited to see another 9 legendary. And as he turned broadside there, managed to put a solid lung shot into him. His health took a little bit longer than I wanted to start dropping, actually, and I was slightly concerned that maybe I was a little bit too far back with that shot, but I could see he was then dropping pretty quickly, so I figured I must have got at least a single lung. And this guy looked pretty big on the ground, so I was hoping that he would make it. I've had a couple of these guys troll, so really crossing my fingers that he'd make it. And basically there was nowhere nice to get a very good screenshot, so I ended up using this guy's belly as a nice background. But you can see, I actually did get through to a single lung, and he is a diamond at 169.40. So not massive when 167.50 is diamond, but that is still a good margin over that requirement, so I was really happy. And he is actually, I think, 0.1 bigger than the one I had in the trophy lodge. So literally just a tiny little bit of an improvement, but that's still an improvement. And I love the water buffalo. They look so cool. These legendaries are just absolute tanks. The size of their horns, absolutely incredible looking animals. I'm hopeful that eventually I can get like a wonky looking one or something like that if I keep hunting them, because that would be really cool. I think like either a wonky albino or a wonky looking diamond, I think would be really, really cool. And sticking with Parque Fernando and looking for water buffalo, I ended up finding something whilst I was looking around at water buffalo drink time, and you can probably just see him there as he goes sort of behind that tree. That's a very big looking black buck, and I ended up tracking this guy for ages. He is a level 5, and unfortunately when I initially saw him, he was on the opposite side of the lake to me, and he actually got spooked by a puma. I then spent absolutely ages trying to track him down into a spot where I could actually get a shot at him, and it was really weird because I was kind of heading into sort of more of the middle of the reserve at one point tracking him, and it was so strange because I got a notification that I was leaving the reserve, even though I was very much not anywhere near any of the borders, and then it kicked me back to one of the lodges. So then I had to go back from that lodge to that point, which it let me do it, so clearly there was no issue with that specific area. I guess it was just multiplayer being weird. Picked up his track. He had then come back to this lake and spooked again, and finally managed to get him round, sort of going round the edge of this lake, and finally he gave me a shot. And so I managed to drop him there with the 243. Really happy to finally get this guy on the ground. It's been a little while since I saw a level 5 black buck, probably nearer to the release of their true racks. So this guy was a really welcome sight. Not a massive diamond, 134.30 when 132.20 is diamond. But these guys just look so impressive now they've got their true racks. I really, really love how they look. And again, this is one that I'm really happy to have actually found. and you can see there 2.51 kilometer tracking distance, and that was just because of how this guy ended up going and where he ended up going. He was really flighty, and that did make me hopeful that he would actually break that diamond requirement, as the bigger animals always do tend to be a little bit more flighty. So that was another really nice harvest from Parque Fernando. Moving on now to some clips from Leighton Lakes, and the very first animal that we're going to take a look at is this level 5 Blacktail. Now, I wasn't actually out here looking for Blacktail, I was looking for a couple of other things for the lodge, but I was really happy to see this guy, because that is actually the bigger rack style for a potential diamond Blacktail deer. And I actually much prefer this rack to the smaller rack. And this guy actually ends up being something that I do want for the main trophy lodge, as I did have a small rack diamond blacktail in there, so this guy can actually replace him. And you can see there, managed to get a nice long shot on him with the M1, and he doesn't go far before he actually drops. I really love the mass that the bigger rack diamond blacktail have. They've got a lot more mass than the smaller rack, which we're actually going to get to take a look at in a minute and compare. But this guy is a diamond 185.50, which is actually pretty big considering 177.50 is diamond. So this guy is definitely a good bit over that margin, and I actually really like how these bigger rack ones look. I know from what everyone has said that they're maybe not the most realistic diamond in the game, but I something about how the big rack diamond blacktail look I think is just really cool. I think that, again, with that mass, they just look so much better than the smaller rack ones. And I was pretty happy with that shot. I could have maybe been a little bit more central in the chest, but it got through to a lung, so that was all that is needed. And I mentioned that we're going to get to take a look at a smaller rack blacktail. Well, I actually ended up finding this guy, and you're going to see him on screen in just a second. That right there is a small rack level 5 blacktail. Now, as I mentioned, I much prefer the bigger rack, but anytime I see a level 5 blacktail, it's pretty cool. They're not the most common diamond to actually find. So again, managed to put a nice lung shot on him there, and as I was walking over to pick him up, I saw something led in the distance, and getting my binoculars on it, it was actually a Pieball Cow moose, which is pretty crazy. These low-level servers are always awesome. You can sometimes just get a sight like that where you shoot a potential diamond and then there's a rare. But this guy actually also made diamond at 179.60, so not a whole lot over that diamond requirement. And this guy kind of looks a little bit different to the small rack diamond I had in the lodge. His tines looked a little bit longer and just a little bit different. So I'm going to be quite interested to put this guy up in a lodge and take a better look at the pair of them and compare. But that is a really, really nice diamond. Again, you don't see a whole lot of diamond blacktail, so I'm always happy to take another one. But hopefully you guys can see what I mean about the rack looking a little bit more spindly and sort of less mass in comparison to that bigger rack one that we just shot, because there's definitely quite a bit of a difference. And yeah, so now let's take out that Pieball Cow moose, I guess. You don't see that a whole lot. That's something I haven't had a whole lot, where I actually see a diamond and a rare so close together. And it is only a female, so not something that I would always necessarily include in a video. But, you know, seeing it so close to a diamond that I just dropped, it definitely needed to be included. And I actually managed to bring her down with a heart shot, which was just extra nice. I seem to be making a lot of heart shots with the 338. I don't know why, if I just feel more confident taking them or what, but I seem to be making quite a few of them, and it's really nice. But as you can see, a beautiful piebald cow moose. Now, she's not necessarily something I'm going to keep for any trophy lodges, as I do have a few of the rare female moose. But I hope one day there will be a multi-mount or something where we can use female moose, because they are really beautiful, and it's a shame that we can only use mainly males in most multi-mounts, but there's not even a moose multi-mount at all, and I think maybe one of a bull and 2 cows or something would look really nice. And this is such a beautiful rare. The piebald moose are stunning, with the different shades of brown contrasting with that white. Absolutely gorgeous. And sticking with the theme of rares, I found something pretty cool when it comes to blacktail. That right there is a level 3 albino blacktail buck. And oh my gosh, I was so excited to see this. It's been a very long time since I saw my last albino blacktail. I think it would have been way back when I was still on Xbox rather than PC. And honestly, I was so excited. Managed to drop him there with a double lung shot from the M1. And this is just a beautiful looking buck. Absolutely stunning. They really do stand out. And again, wasn't looking for blacktail. I was actually up here looking for elk when this guy just ran out. I accidentally spooked him, and as soon as I saw him running away, I knew he was something a little bit special. And you can see there, that lung shot was absolutely perfect to bring him down. Really happy with that shot. And he is very wonky as well, which I actually like for rares, just because it adds to their overall uniqueness. And this guy is certainly unique, and definitely one that I wanted to put into the main trophy lodge. Really happy with that find. Like I said, you don't see an awful lot of the albino blacktail bucks, so really happy with that. And again, just so much you can find in multiplayer in these random servers, and this was just up in an area that had been completely unchecked. And yeah, he was just roaming around, and I couldn't believe it when I actually spotted him. Absolutely stunning little deer. And it just seems I've had really good blacktail luck these past few days. And sticking again with rares, I found something that I was looking for. That is a piebald Roosevelt elk bull. But unfortunately, he is very much on the smaller end for a Roosevelt elk bull. He is a level 2. Which I have been looking so hard for any kind of rare for the bull elk, for the trophy lodge, and this was the first one I've actually found. And yeah, he is quite small. He's not the smallest that they can be. I have seen level 1 bull elk, but he is pretty small. And I really do love that piebald pattern on the Roosevelt elk. It's similar to the moose with the different colours of brown contrasting with the white. They are stunning. Again, managed to drop this guy with a heart shot, and yeah, you can see all the other elk running away. All of them are bigger than this guy, which I thought was pretty funny. There was some pretty decent sized level 3s and even a bigger level 2. And it's just sometimes funny how you can spend so much time looking for a rare and one finally pops up and it's either a female or a very small male. Looking at him close up, you can see he does have some decent antler growth there, just not huge. But he is absolutely stunning being a piebald, so definitely one that I was going to save. I have actually since taxed him and put him in the trophy lodge, but he is really pretty. I love that sort of almost like goldenish light brown and then that really dark brown on their head contrasting with the white. It's just beautiful. And you can see here I actually put him as a saved harvest, but like I mentioned, he is now in the trophy lodge as I just could not find another rare bull elk. And it's really funny because I have all of the rares for Roosevelt elk, but as cows. So I hope one day we get a multi-mount for Roosevelt elk, bulls and cows, because this guy would be pretty funny to put there with a group of rare females, I think. But again, it's something I was really happy to finally see a rare male instead of a rare female. But I ended up finding some other trophies when it comes to Roosevelt elk, including this guy. That is a level 5 bull. Now, he is the smaller rack, but I was pretty hopeful that this guy could actually make diamond. And managed to put a shot in him there as he was walking with the 338. And again, really not going very far after that shot. This 338 just seems to be a powerhouse on elk and bison. And yeah, he is a diamond, 382.80. So not huge, but I actually really like how the small rack diamond elk look. I just wish they had better brow tines. And you can see that was a very solid double lung shot. But he is a very nice looking diamond, and one that will find some place in a lodge somewhere, because these guys really are impressive looking. You can just tell that they're big when you spot them. Sticking with Roosevelt elk, and I found something else pretty cool. And the way that this played out had my heart racing. So I spotted what was, I'm not gonna, hide it, it was a level 5 Roosevelt elk bull. And I basically tried for quite a while to try and get a shot on him, and finally had him walking towards me here, nervous. And I, again, was pretty confident I could make a walking shot here with the 338. but he ended up turning towards me. I still thought I could get that chest shot in there, but I was a little bit too quick on the trigger there. Sometimes shots do go wrong, and I thought that I would include that just to show, that things do go wrong sometimes. I was just a little bit too quick with that shot, should have held it a little bit lower, and he ran off and his health wasn't dropping. This is always terrifying because this is a big rack diamond elk as well. There's no mistaking that that will be a diamond. I have shot elk with that rack before and they're always huge. I sat there for a couple of minutes waiting and praying, hoping that he would come back the same as the others. And finally I could see him trotting in, very clearly wounded, carrying his head low. And I was just, hoping that I would have long enough to make a secondary shot. And as soon as he came and he was anywhere close to being, sort of still and broadside, I took that shot. Obviously he was walking, but I wasn't going to risk him actually dying before I could get any kind of decent shot. And thankfully that second shot got vitals. So let's take a look at that first shot. You can see it was just too high, and being where it was in the neck, it just got flesh. And you can see that it had actually knocked quite a bit of his health off at that point. So I'm really lucky that I managed to get that second shot in. And I'll be honest, that second shot is not a great shot either. It's way back in the lung and hitting liver. But thankfully it was enough to pass the vital check, and this guy is a diamond at 394.20, sorry. And he is a really nice looking diamond. Those antlers are really cool looking. I do like the bigger rack diamond elk. I just wish that this guy had more mass, similar to the smaller rack. That's the one thing that these bigger rack ones lack, is any kind of real mass. But yeah, that first shot was just poor. And, sometimes maybe people don't include the shots that go wrong. But I thought, I would include that one because it did go wrong, and I was really panicking that I'd messed that up. I was very, very scared that I might have just messed up a really cool animal. But thankfully, managed to sort it out with a second shot. And sometimes it happens. It doesn't matter who you are. Sometimes you just pull the trigger a little bit too early or something like that. It happens. And this is definitely one that's going to replace a smaller rack diamond in the lodge. I love the back tines on these guys. They are gorgeous. Now, moving on to a clip from Medved Tiger, and I spawned in this multiplayer server, walked over to the lake, and the very first animal I saw was a level 3 musk deer. So I spotted around to make sure that not all the animals here were max level, and thankfully they weren't. This was the only one. So I went ahead and brought this guy down with a shot there from the 243. And I noticed as he was going down, I took a quick look at his score estimate, and I was kind of hoping that with that minimum score estimate that this guy could potentially be what I was hoping he was. And he was a max weight, max score diamond musk deer. This is my second max weight and max score musk deer on this PC account. And I just can't believe it. I seem to have insane luck with these little guys, and honestly, I will take it. I love the musk deer so much. I think they're such an underappreciated animal, and they're just so unique and cool, and I just love them. And that is just a huge musk deer. What a monster. I can't believe it. I cannot believe I found another max one. I just couldn't believe it. Like I said, I saw that score estimate just as he was going down, and I was like, oh, could this be another one? But you can see that the diamond requirement is 249, and the max for these guys is 276. So they are really, really big when they're a max one like this guy. Absolute monster. And of course, this is one that will have to go into the main trophy lodge. But now onto my favourite clip of this entire video. You're gonna see the animal in question run past us there. That is an albino male whitetail jackrabbit here on Leighton Lakes, and I cannot believe I found this. I actually picked up his track as I was running around looking for elk and spent probably 20 minutes at least tracking this guy down, and just how gorgeous is that? They are so incredibly rare. I have always wanted one ever since I found out that these guys existed. And they're just, they're next level rare. You very rarely see these guys posted or anything. And he is actually a gold as well. So for the very first one I find to be a really decent sized male, I am so lucky. And you can see that tracking distance, 2.05 kilometers, which when you're tracking a rabbit is actually quite hard because they leave very intermittent tracks. They will only really leave droppings and disturbed vegetation. And yeah, I ended up managing to follow the group and then actually found him with them, which was just so cool. They're just so bright white. Like, that is so gorgeous, and I honestly cannot believe I found it. I'm so lucky. Again, random multiplayer servers, all of these are multiplayer clips, and it just shows what you can find if you spend enough time going through those servers in hopes of actually finding some good stuff. And yeah, picking up an albino whitetail jackrabbit track, absolutely incredible. Definitely the best highlight from the past couple of days. So that is going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. And of course, we have Mississippi Acres releasing later today, which that's what the next video will be on for sure. I cannot wait to get my hands on that map. So yeah, thank you all so much, as always, for all your support and just everything. You guys are incredible. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.